All right, this is going to be a look at some Ravens run concepts from their Week 1 preseason game against the Titans. Information will be presented at the top there. Very little or limited information, but at least the run concept and the player who's getting the ball. This is a toss crack scheme. Some of these I'll try to let it run or one time through, and then kind of annotate it or talk about it thereafter. Thought the Ravens offensive line played quite well. Ben Cleveland, Tyree Phillips all had pretty good moments. Ben Powers had some good moments as well, but he had two really bad ones in the run game. Daniel Falele, I thought was pretty solid. Showed a lot of improvement. It's a toss crack scheme. When I initially saw it on film during the game, first of all, Mike Davis has a little bit of burst left, in case you don't know. But I thought this was a toss stretch concept, and I was wrong. What we're doing is we're getting a crack here with the tight end, and as much of a crack as we can get there with that receiver, but we don't get much. And then we're pulling James, and I think even Phillips, and both of those guys showed mobility that I didn't know that they had. Quickness, athleticism. Oliver's getting a pretty good, crack down. Really, this is just pin pull stretch. I would call it that. But it is a crack because you have outside receivers cracking down. But some people just call it pin pull whenever you have that and then the tackle pulling, which is essentially a stretch concept. You're just doing it with a different manner of blocking it. You're pinning someone down, in this case 94, and then you're pulling the left tackle and also the left guard. Nice gain out on the edge. Pretty good job by Ben Mason on two examples out in space like this. Some of his kick-out blocks on power, there just wasn't a lot of strength there in terms of who he was being asked to kick out. Later on in that drive, same drive, maybe two plays later, I would call this duo base, and watch how slow we are, for whatever reason, getting off the ball, especially there at right tackle and the tight end, compared to Cleveland, Powers, and Phillips. I mean, we're not even out of our stance, and the running back has the ball. That's just really, really weird. One thing, now that was rare. That did not happen often. That was, this one instance. So by no means am I saying that was, consistent for these guys. Downhill run action. You're getting a combo block with these two. And I thought Cleveland was pretty aggressive, pretty solid, in my opinion. We're supposed to be double teaming this guy here, which is the duo element to it. A lead up with the fullback. Is this concept one that we ran a ton of in previous years? Not really, to be honest with you. I mean, we did run it some. Under center, short yardage situations, yeah. J.K. Dobbins against the Steelers in 2020 and against the Bengals in the last regular season game in 2020 had two runs. Very similar concept. Two tight ends to one side, quarterback under center, running downhill. Cleveland is moving people, and then I think he even works up to the next level. I thought he played quite well, was impressive. Phillips, I know some people were not as enamored with. I thought there was a difference, though, in how Phillips played at left guard versus at left tackle. I think he's miscast as a left tackle. I think he's done a nice job at left guard. I just disagree with some of the other people evaluating his play. I got this labeled as power because Phillips is pulling, and then he's going to log, so he's going to get out to the edge instead of pulling and wrapping, at that type of angle for a linebacker. Let's let it run one time through, like I said I was going to do. Ben Mason has a wrong-arming linebacker, number 57. So what that means is Mason on the power is normally going to, like the letter J, kind of. That's a poor drawing. Like the letter J, it would kick out this defensive end, and then the guard would pull, and then we would get the running back running, in between that kick-out block and that pull. In this case, 57 wrong arms it, so he goes to the inside, takes it on with his left shoulder, trying to clog up this interior gap. So Phillips, and then likely behind him, and then Davis as well, just logs outside of it to the open space. That's what you should do. You should bounce it against a wrong arm. I just feel like this guy plays this quite poorly, 42. He actually has two really good reps later on in this game. If you're going to wrong arm it, it's basically a gap exchange. Someone's got to exchange gaps with the guy. Either 33, exchanging the gap, or 42, which should be a natural thing that inside linebackers do whenever you don't go through open windows. If you're trying to rob a house, you don't go through closed windows. You go through open windows. So in any case, nice job by Phillips and Davis to recognize it. Did we run power in previous years? Absolutely. So, that's not a new concept either. Even though the first one, the toss crack one was kind of new. Justice Hill, man, showed some athleticism that we knew he had, but we didn't know how much was there. Man, did he? You tell me what you guys see. First of all, we're not going to spend a lot of time criticizing the blocking here by a rookie tight end who is generally going to be making plays in the pass game, but he's got to be more aware than this. First of all, Cleveland's doing a nice job pulling and wrapping to the linebacker level. We've got to have more awareness than this. I'm quite sure he got ripped in some of these tight end film sessions after this game. That's a tremendously low level of awareness that's got to improve. I don't think he's going to serve in the Patrick Ricard role. That's not what he's suited to do at all. But there's got to be a higher level of awareness than that. Ben Cleveland, I thought, showed a lot of fire. And Justice Hill, bouncing off of two people. That's the type of thing that NFL running backs do. And I didn't expect that level of burst and finish out of him to be real. Another toss crack where likely he's going to get called for a hold. Watch Ja'Wuan James, though. Pick up the guy, stabbed him with his inside hand that likely held, so likely got called for it. And then there's a inside linebacker scraping that James gets as well. I thought James played spectacular. Other people had a different assessment, and that's cool. I just thought there was a lot of good things that he did. So likely he's supposed to pin down on this. This is the same play I showed you as the first play, where Oliver and the wide receiver pin down. He's supposed to pin that guy, so pin pull essentially. Phillips is reaching this 3 technique, and you'll see another example of Ben Cleveland doing the same thing, I think to the same guy. I thought our guards played well. I feel like our O-line is making strides for real. Phillips is reaching him. You can see his head has beat the head of that 3 technique. Likely ends up holding here, but watch James stab. He recognizes, okay, likely is not in control with this. He stabs him with his inside arm and then decleats the linebacker pursuing. I just feel like James played a very solid, underrated game against the Titans. Power concept to the strong side, and Phillips is pulling again. Some people were like, oh man, he ran right past a linebacker. It's the backside inside linebacker. This guy here, 45, he's going to come at this angle. And I mean, yeah, are Phillips and him within 2 yards of each other at some point? Certainly they are. Likely doesn't get any movement on that guy. And to be honest with you, I think he's the guy that we should be kicking for real. I think this guy right here should be getting kicked. We might need to arc release this with likely, which means release out to the nickel or strong safety that's rolled up, and then that would clear that J-shaped path for Ben Mason. For whatever reason, we're kicking the strong safety or the nickel or leading up with the fullback there, and I just don't like the angle. Justice Hill, again, showing some explosiveness, getting outside on it. By the way, Ben Cleveland is literally moving this guy. The fast twitch on Cleveland was shocking the other night. Fast twitch meaning moving quickly out of his stance and attacking people before they attacked him. He's a big 6'6", 355-pound guy. Fast twitch is not something you associate with those type people. Clear hold on Isaiah Likely. No reason to belabor the point. Again, not a new concept for us. One back power, where we're getting a guy in motion. Riley Webb, I think, and he's dealing with or trying to deal with an edge player there. Batty cuts it back. I think that you get a nice job by Ben Cleveland again. I'm not intentionally talking great about him. Look, first of all, there's not a ton of movement by Ben Cleveland initially. He's helped by the left hand of Daniel Falele, who is trying to chip to the backside inside linebacker that is then able to cross his face. So you do at times see the limited athleticism of Falele in space, but it didn't show up a lot. But the idea, and by the way, Cleveland's guy ends up on the ground. So big block by him, got help from Falele. But Falele is supposed to combo to the backside inside linebacker. That is the expectation. That is what we're trying to do. And then Phillips is going to get the front side inside linebacker here. I think Phillips did a pretty good job on his pulls, and so did Cleveland. We actually pulled, like Stacey Van Diver pointed out, when we were talking about the game, him and I, we actually pulled our right guard to the left, which is not something we did a ton of. Another power play. This is Batty. Later on in the game. By the way, this is going to be 12 plays, so if you want to watch the entire video, great. Trying to do minute and a half per play. So there are some elements that I'm going to miss. Now this time we're double teaming a linebacker with the 2 tight ends, which is cool too. So we get a real soft edge there. Look how far back this edge player has been compressed. Then Cleveland pulls, and we almost bust this thing through. So what I mean is you've got an outside linebacker edge player here, and we double team him. I called for on the previous one 2 plays ago. I think likely I even drew the diagram. I thought likely should have arc released, which means outside release to the nickel or the strong safety. That's not applicable here because we've got a great angle on the 3 technique here, and then we go ahead and double this guy. Awesome stuff. Mason is again going after the nickel strong safety. Not a huge fan of that, but Batty's quick, reads it behind Cleveland. I love how our O-line played the other night. There was a great question on Twitter. What was the level of guys we were playing against? I'm not sure. To be real, I'm not sure. I know 99 is a badass for Tennessee. Is either a starter, probably not, but he's capable of playing. Capable of playing a lot of snaps in the NFL, and he will. All right, play number 9. I think this is split zone. I would say this one's new. I still think we have problems getting to the linebacker level at times. Let it run through. Cleveland is staying on his guy. This is the huge run by McCrary. I feel like Tennessee really plays this poor, but split zone, you're going to have guys working this way, and then the fullback or H-back is going to go across the formation and kick out an edge player. So you'd have a 2-way go. Poor line drawn there, but you could cut it back. In this case, McCrary sees that the primary hole is going to be filled by 42, again, unblocked. So he's got great vision. He recognizes there's nothing there. Phillips is doing a great job on this edge player. Cleveland has overtaken this guy. It was a 3 technique that I think he stepped to. Yeah, so Cleveland's the guard here. He's got a 3. That's his outside shade. And again, Cleveland beats people. His first foot is in the ground before this guy's first foot, and he's getting his second foot in the ground before that guy's second foot, and he takes him over. He looked much improved. And McCrary, great vision, to see it and then burst through that hole. I thought, is Phillips going to be a left tackle in the NFL? No. But it looks like the Ravens are trying to, acclimate certain guys to play in multiple positions, and I think that's smart. Lead stretch, if you're tracking what's up there, and then we got 2 more plays after this one. McCrary's in, going behind Mason. Cleveland reaches this 3, who's stabbed inside, though. So he's in the B gap, but post-snap, he's going to stab inside this A gap. So he's reached by the call. But unfortunately, we don't deal with the Mike 42 at all. Mason is willing and trying to get in there, but because of the way this spiking works, they must have had an inkling that we were going to run the zone to that side. This guy ends up overlapping and being free. Remember how I drew the gap exchange up earlier on the edge, down near the goal line? Same concept here. Cleveland's overtaken that guy easy, but between Cleveland and Cologne, one of them's got to work up to the second level guy. We never did that because of the spike. Cleveland's handling him. Cologne can't get up. Too late for Cleveland to get there, obviously. Clean hit by the Mike, and there's the nickel defender in there that Mason was going after. Not a bad job here by Oliver. We're going to be a physical football team. This looks like what we're trying to do, to me. Are we going to do this with Mark Andrews? No. But we would certainly do this with Patrick Ricard and Nick Boyle on the field. Certainly. And we're going to see these fronts. You got 4 down linemen, and so you'd say a stack 4-4 with the strong safety rolled in the box. We're going to see these alignments if Ricard and Boyle are on the field together. I would like for us to avoid those personnel alignments. All right, Clement on a draw. Is that new? We didn't run it a ton. We certainly didn't run lead stretch a lot either, to be honest with you. I should have said that if I did not. We didn't run lead stretch a whole lot. I did like that Falele is working up to the second level. I saw a clip on Twitter I think it was Cole Jackson shared it, and Daniel Falele did play very well, where we're running like stretch away, and Falele's blocking the backside DN, and it's like that guy can't make the play if we're reading him, because we were in the shotgun on that particular play. If we're reading him, like, we shouldn't be blocking him anyway. Backside inside linebacker made the tackle. In this case, Falele goes and gets the backside inside linebacker right there. He does a nice job. We just don't handle the mic. McCrary's good. All of our backs seem to be good at having the vision to find the hole that should be attacked. A draw. I think that's Hundley in now, and Phillips is going to go straight to second level. And we're trying to crack this other inside linebacker. So on a draw, you got to get these linebackers blocked. You got to give them something to deal with. So we're dealing with 42 with Phillips, and then this tight end here, another crack. We seem to be cracking things more than I remembered in previous years. Not saying that we got a great gain here, but Clement is able to make one guy miss and then drag the pile a little bit. We didn't run a ton of draw. You can tell me if you remember draw plays. I don't remember a whole lot of them. I like what I saw, our physicality, our offensive line, backs, good vision. The second preseason game will be interesting because we'll, be on the road against Arizona. It'll be interesting to see what adjustments Arizona makes based on the film that we've shown. Inside zone, so you got a double team here, and presumably, we're going to work up, and someone's trying to work up to number 42. We did not run a ton of inside zone in previous years. We did not. We got a lot of backups in. Phillips still in at left tackle, though. Do I think he's got a future as a left tackle in the NFL? No. I mean, you can see the edge player, shocks him and sheds to get involved in the play. I was excited by our run game, though, for real. I was excited by the different types of concepts that we showed. I thought, and this was all end zone footage. That was intentional of me to show all end zone footage so we could see the O-line. And I'm sure that I missed certain elements on certain plays. Across the board, I thought our O-line played quite well. The guys that are on screen here, if I was to say who I thought played the weakest, I would say Powers and then Phillips. I saw two really poor plays by Powers where he ended up on the ground, like on his knees some. I did not see that out of Cleveland, Falele, or James. I didn't see that glaring, type of negative play. I thought James was the most impressive in terms of mobility out of this group that's on screen now, and then Phillips after that. I thought Cleveland and Falele, were the guys who showed way more improvement than I would have expected. I think there's some good work going on with our offensive line guys. I really do. Pass pro stuff, that will be the next level thing to see if we're making improvements there too. I feel like across the board, our offensive linemen are getting better. Guys are playing multiple positions. Cleveland played right guard and left guard. Powers played center and right guard. Phillips played left guard and left tackle just in this game. And I love that intentional versatility, trying to get those guys exposed to those positions because you never know what happens. Now, that does bring up an idea in my head. Are we creating versatility, positional versatility, because we're going to carry less offensive linemen than a lot of people think? Some people think we'll carry 10. I don't know a lot about roster projections. Ken at Film Study Ravens, knows a whole hell of a lot about that than me and most other people as well. So I don't know how many we would keep, but the fact that it seems intentional about the positional versatility leads me to believe that maybe we'll keep less offensive linemen than some of us project. Forgive me if my audio is poor. I'm recording in an enclosed space again, but I tried to bring you guys all end zone angle footage because I thought it was instructive of how the guys played. And you're welcome to let me know elements that I missed on run plays and whatnot. I thought our backs played quite well. Mike Davis was impressive with his burst. McCrary was real impressive with his vision twice, and then that 21, 22-yard run off the left side. Clement didn't get many opportunities, and neither did Batty. And then for me, Justice Hill is the guy that stood out with the explosiveness. And he's a great special teams player. So I think Justice Hill's got a real shot to be on this roster. even if other guys are separating themselves in terms of their, I would say certainly Mike Davis looks like the guy until J.K. and Gus are back for games. Once J.K. is back, then Mike Davis is probably your number 2. Justice Hill, I think, still has a place on the roster for game days because of his special teams ability. You guys let me know what you think of this video and my thoughts and the Ravens run game in the comments section. I appreciate you guys checking out the vid.